LL Cool J just kicked off a 29-city concert tour, his first since 1996. The NCIS Los Angeles star was recently in New York City for the Ride of Fame campaign, and that's where we caught up with him. LL, great to see you.
Good to see you too.
Authentic.
Yeah.
14th album.
Yeah.
Your first since 2008. How did you budget your time? You're a busy man to get this done.
You know, when you really love something, you find ways to do it. You find time. And it's like eating. You know, when people love to eat, they figure out times to get in the refrigerator, you know what I'm saying? And I just made time. You know, I would go after work. I would go early in the morning, sometimes before, weekends, anytime I could get it in. And I just wanted to create a record, and I just wanted to make music. It's like when you have that voice inside of you that's just speaking to you and calling you and calling you, you have to answer it. That's what I did. And I'm really grateful. I have great people on this album. You know, Eddie Van Halen and Seal and Earth, Wind and Fire and Charlie Wilson and Babyface and Bootsy Collins and Fitz and the Tantrums and all these different amazing entertainers. Tom Morello, Chuck D. I mean, it's amazing.
In sports, when you put together a superstar lineup,
right,
it's hard. It's hard to manage egos.
Yeah.
It's hard to blend in
right.
all of that together. How about in the music industry? How did you make that happen?
I think that it's the same, but you just got to know who to pick, right? It's all about chemistry, you know. And I always tell everybody around me, teamwork makes a dream work. So, you know, when you're putting a team together, you just have to make sure that people are good at their specific job and they understand what their specific job is, and that there's a lot of communication between everybody and everybody's on the same page. And, you know, that's what I did with the project. I just communicated clearly, let everybody know what the goal was, and, you know, we went from there.
Take it, take it, take it, take it, take it, take it. Let me love you back. You know what I'm saying, baby? I won't make you wait. Can you take it?
First album not under the Def Jam umbrella.
Right.
Was it time for a change?
It's not even that. My contract was up. I did my whole deal with Def Jam. I own my catalog. I did what I had to do. The music business has changed significantly. You know, record sales are very different nowadays. So there really was I didn't see a need to go to Def Jam for a deal. I mean, I just didn't see it. I'm still friends. I just saw some of the Def Jam guys the other day. I'm still friends with them, and it doesn't mean I wouldn't do business with them in the future, but at this point, the way the music business is, I didn't see what the difference would be, you know? So I decided to just put it out independently and have some distribution and, you know, let the fans have some music.
Well, let me take you back. 1984, I Need a Beat hits the airwaves. 1985, Radio comes out.
Yeah.
What have you learned from that time to now? You just talked about the music industry, how things have changed. How has it changed in your mind?
Well, there's been a complete democratization of, you know, just artists being able to, having the power to get into business. In other words, it's been totally flattened, you know. The entry barriers are much lower now. You know, you can get in the game a lot easier. But being in the game doesn't mean that you're gonna make a lot of noise in the game. So with the digital downloads, with the internet coming in, with everything that's going on, a lot of your music now, quite frankly, you're really doing it for love. You're giving away a lot of music, you know. I mean, my record, this is my 13th top 10 album in a row. And top 10, like number 4 hip hop, number 7 R&B. It even went to 23 pop, but it sold a fraction of what some of my other records would have sold had I had the same level of exposure 12 or 15 years ago. The business has changed, but it doesn't take away your passion for the, you know, for music. So you just do what you do, and I just continue to just plug away at it because I love it.
You grew up a Yankees fan. Your grandfather had a big influence on that.
For sure.
What are your early memories of the Yankees?
Oh man, I mean, just thinking about, you know, I used to Thurman Munson and Ron Guidry and Goose Gossage.
That was a good time to be a fan. 77, 78.
Yeah, and just, you know, just sitting in the kitchen and just watching the game. And, I used to always, like, as a little kid, be amazed by the left-handed pitcher versus the right-handed pitchers and the differences and their wind-ups. And it was an amazing, amazing time. My grandfather was a huge fan. You know, and at that time, I really loved baseball. I used to be fascinated by the differences between a catcher's mitt and a normal outfielder's mitt, and a first baseman's mitt, and just kind of all the differences and the nuances. And it was a trip. Yeah, it was great.
Growing up around that time in New York, Jets and Giants were mediocre. They were struggling. So a lot of people right around our age group that grew up in the New York
Dallas.
area, they went a different direction.
Dallas Cowboys.
And that was your direction. And
Yeah.
it's still today,
Well,
you're a Cowboy fan.
Yeah, you know what? It's funny though. I did like the Cowboys growing up. You know, they helped me through a lot of tough times. But I got back into the Giants. I did.
You did?
And, yeah, and that was years ago. Yeah, I gotta go with the Giants, man. I can't. Now, as Queens people get mad at me because I'm not Jets Mets, and they're like, "Yo, you're from Queens."
That's
You're supposed
right.
to, but I'm like Giants, Yankees. My grandfather was in the Bronx. He came from Barbados. They went to the Bronx. Then he moved to Queens. So, thus the Yankee. But the Giants, I just remember LT just destroying offensive lines and just, And I got the pleasure of doing a movie with him and hanging out with him. So, yeah. Giants.
Any given Sunday, when you blend actors and athletes, tell me about the competitiveness that takes place on a set like that. LT, you just mentioned it.
Well, I'll tell you a funny story. I don't know if I can tell you the story.
People want to hear it. You know people want to hear it. Secrets from the set. What was said during the making of Any Given Sunday when the cameras weren't rolling? Stick around.